This is the leading news from the Albuquerque Journal. I'm Gino Gutierrez. It's Wednesday, August 12th. Here's what we're covering on today's episode. The Frijoles fire in the Pecos wilderness has grown to more than 62,000 acres as firefighters continue battling one of the largest wildfires to hit New Mexico during what is typically the state's rainy season. Santa Fe County has opened a temporary shelter for residents evacuated from Camino de Canyon and Cadallo. The rest of Cadallo and nearby Cerro Peñon have been set to ready evacuation status, meaning residents should be prepared to leave. Heavy smoke has also affected schools, with Santa Fe Public Schools canceling outdoor athletic practices on Tuesday and held indoor recess because of the poor air quality. Firefighting aircraft were grounded around noon on Tuesday after a drone was spotted inside the temporary flight restricted zone. The Forest Service says such incursions force all aircraft to stop operations until the drone is confirmed to be gone. More than 100 firefighters and other personnel are now working the blaze, which officials say likely started by lightning. The Forest Service says the fire's rapid growth is unusual for this time of year, citing dry thunderstorms, strong winds, and high temperatures with low humidity. New Mexico could receive up to $942 million from two landmark verdicts against Meta over the dangers of social media use by minors. But as much as $68 million could go to Motley Rice, the South Carolina law firm that helped the state bring the case. The firm's fee is capped at 7.12% of the total verdict, according to the Office of Attorney General Raul Torres. The fees are drawing attention because New Mexico had previously paid outside attorneys about $249 million for opioid settlements, roughly 28% of the total. A state judge last week ordered Meta to pay $567 million and impose new limits on social media use by people under the age of 18. That followed a $375 million civil penalty awarded by a Santa Fe jury. Meta says it plans to appeal, and Torres and supporters say the money could help fund youth mental health, prevention, and treatment programs, although lawmakers will ultimately decide how the funds are spent. The Attorney General's office says the state also recovered more than $885 million in federal funding since July of 2025 through litigation led by state attorneys. Joseph Johnson testified in his own defense on Tuesday in a federal corruption trial involving former New Mexico House Majority Leader Cheryl Williams Stapleton. Johnson told jurors he was unaware Stapleton had withdrawn more than $1.1 million from his company's bank accounts between 2013 and 2020. He became emotional while describing how his focus deteriorated after his son was killed in a car crash in 2016. Prosecutors allege Stapleton used blank checks from Johnson's Washington, D.C.-based company, Robotics Management Learning System, to funnel money into accounts that she controlled. Johnson said he heavily relied on his office manager, who prosecutors say mailed blank checks to Stapleton. But prosecutors challenged Johnson's credibility, pointing to hundreds of thousands of dollars in Albuquerque public school payments to robotics that he failed to report on his personal tax returns. Stapleton declined to testify on Tuesday, and both the clients have pled not guilty to charges accusing them of conspiring to steal more than $2 million in state and federal education funding. Closing arguments are expected to take place today. A bipartisan New Mexico Legislative Commission investigating Jeffrey Epstein's ties to the state is facing a dispute over whether politics influenced its interim report. Republican lawmakers Andrea Reeb and Bill Hall accused Democratic Chairwoman Andrea Romero of removing the name of Democratic gubernatorial nominee Deb Haaland from the report. They say the commission had agreed to mention Haaland's 2014 flight on an airplane chartered by Epstein, but her name was removed before the report was released. Romero disputes that claim, saying all four commission members helped develop the report, and that the panel collectively decided not to name people who had only had tangential interactions with Epstein. The report does name several other people who traveled on Epstein's planes, including former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson and former President Bill Clinton. Haaland's campaign has acknowledged the 2014 flight, but said she had no relationship with Epstein and did not know how the flight was arranged. The commission was created to investigate whether gaps in New Mexico law or favorable treatment by authorities allowed Epstein to abuse underage victims at his Zorro Ranch. The panel plans to issue a final report by the end of the year, but Republicans say they will only continue participating if the investigation remains truly bipartisan. And a proposal to put a statewide moratorium on new data centers in New Mexico got its first hearing Tuesday, with Republicans questioning whether a pause would hurt the state economically. Democratic Representatives Michaela Lora Candela and Angelica Rubio, both from Doña Ana County, say the memoriam would give lawmakers more time to establish rules for an industry that can require massive amounts of water and electricity. They point to Project Jupiter, a proposed data center development backed by Oracle and OpenAI in Doña Ana County. The project project is expected to create thousands of jobs and has already generated tens of millions of dollars in tax revenue, according to Oracle. Republicans say New Mexico risks on missing out on investment if it puts the development on hold. They also argue data centers are becoming essential as artificial intelligence expands. Democrats, meanwhile, say the state needs more answers to questions about water use, energy demands, and whether projects like Jupiter comply with New Mexico's climate laws. Several New Mexico counties have already imposed temporary data center moratoriums or adopted development restrictions. The proposed statewide moratorium would be introduced during the 2027 legislative session. The leading news is powered by the journalism of the Albuquerque Journal. If you enjoy hearing all of the stories we share with you here daily, please consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Journal by utilizing the discount code in our show notes. Every subscription helps support local journalism and allows us to provide you with the news that matters to you. Now taking a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast. Today you can expect scattered rain between noon and 3 p.m., sunny and hot with a high near 97. As for this evening, isolated showers and thunderstorms are expected before midnight, patchy smoke between 9 and 11. Partly cloudy with a low around 67. To keep up with all the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal, you can visit our website at abqjournal.com. That's the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. We'll be back tomorrow.